Hello everyone, I'm Dan the Man. Well, for a week that basically ended with the remaining house guests being the same ones we started with before the battle back, a lot actually happened. So, let's get to it. First off came the head of household competition, an exciting endurance competition that ended with Haleigh and Tyler, two people who wanted the other one out the most, ended up fighting for the coveted head of household, as Hive fought to change the game and Tyler fought to keep level 6 safe. They couldn't have scripted it any better. Tyler won, and while the editing made it look like it was either one's game until Hive fell, she was clearly in trouble. She made the mistake of telling Big Brother to hit her as hard as she could, and well, she got what she asked for. When I saw that fall in the live feeds, I remember thinking, holy crap, they killed her. Although despite her ill-advised request, short of Tyler's foot slipping randomly, it was almost surely a matter of time until she lost. And that brings us to the big controversy for the week, which I think anyone who follows Big Brother outside of just the episodes knew was coming. Did Tyler win the head of household unfairly? For those who don't know, as we saw in multiple diary room segments shown during the head of household competition, we had people saying you had to keep both feet on the disc. And after the episode aired, a screenshot started circulating showing both of Tyler's feet being off the disc at one point, which had people up in arms saying everything from Tyler cheated to Big Brother covered it up. Which is odd, since had it not been for multiple DR segments saying that both feet had to be on the disc, no one would have thought anything of it. So why cover it up, then show those segments? Doesn't make any sense to me, but a lot of people will cry, it was fixed, whenever they don't like the outcome and not care about the logic behind it. Don't get me wrong, Big Brother is shady at times. I'm just not sure I believe that this was some conspiracy for Tyler to win. And to be honest, for a long time, no one could find a timestamp of when Tyler did it, making me wonder if the picture wasn't fake. But I finally found one. It's at 11:03 p.m. Big Brother time, by the way, if anyone has not seen it yet and wants to look for themselves. And Tyler's feet were briefly both off the disc. So did he cheat? Should Haleigh have won and Tyler's head of household was undeserved rewards? Well, Angela's reading of the rules didn't state any such restriction, but the contestants get more specific rules read to them by production over the speaker. Angela's is just a trimmed down version for the cameras. The thing is, the feeds were off when that happened like they always are, so we don't actually know what it said. The DR segments are what has people saying that the rule was that your feet could not leave the disc at all, rather than just go below the disc like most people believed before that. But that's not definitive proof, and again, if Tyler had his feet off the disc and thus should have gone and BB either missed it, or if we want to be conspiratorial, ignored it so he would win, why show the DR messages 3 times saying otherwise? When if not for those, no one would be calling foul at all. We're not going to know what exactly Big Brother told them until, at most, once the show is over, where I'm sure someone will be asked that in an interview or podcast. But my thoughts? I don't think Tyler broke the rules. As I said, we don't know what happened, but Scottie and Hayleigh clearly saw his feet leave the disc and have not said anything during or since to imply that they thought Tyler should have lost then. Tyler was also seen on camera talking about how his feet were off the disc for a minute, which seems weird he would have said on the camera if he cheated. And although Big Brother is known for shenanigans, I think if they had the common sense to allegedly edit it out, they would not show DR message that contradicted it. So I think fans jumped to conclusions, but the rule was most likely your feet could not go below the disc, which makes sense as we know for years sitting on the disc has been against the rules. So I think Tyler won fair and square, and I hope for Haleigh's sake he did. Would hate it if she went home and found out on what could have been a game-changing head of household that she should have won. That would not be fun. So with all that out of the way, Tyler did win, as whether BB messed up or not, Tyler was and remained the head of household. And he set out to do the easiest move and put up Scottie and Hayleigh. Now some call it cowardly, and this game is kind of cowardly in nature in that he always takes the path of least resistance when he has power. But that doesn't mean it's a bad game move necessarily. Haleigh is the only one likely to put him up, and no one, save Scottie, would object if Scottie went up next to her. It would be better TV if he backstabbed Brad or put up JC and targeted him or something, but it would not be a good game move as it would make enemies of people who at the moment think he and them are top 2, and then Tyler would have more enemies than he started out with, which at that time was only 1. As for the target, the house wanted Scottie, although Tyler clearly wanted Haleigh, as every week she stays is another chance for her to win head of household and probably put him up. I think if Tyler did go up, he'd have the votes to stay, but that's still not where you want to be in Big Brother. But the house wanted Scottie out. He was unpredictable, and aside from Tyler, he was most likely targeting the same people in level 6 as Haleigh was, and he was more likely to win a competition. Tyler could have likely gotten the votes to get Haleigh out. He would need 3. Sam likely would have happily gotten Haleigh out if the opportunity arose, and I think he could have convinced Angela and Kaycee to go along with getting Haleigh out. But that would have created waves if he had them go rogue, and Tyler wants everyone to be happy so no one will look at him bad and likely put him up. So he never really tried to flip the vote. He made some attempts to try and cause dissension, but unless everyone changed their mind, not just 2 or 3 of them, he was never going to truly push getting Haleigh out of the house. Tyler's real concern, I'm sure, is who would win veto, as if Haleigh or Scottie won it and took themselves down, Tyler would have had no choice but to ask someone he made a final 2 deal with to be a pawn and likely jeopardize his relationship with them. He's going to have to soon, but he clearly wants to put that off as long as possible, and definitely not do it in his own head of household when he'd have to take the blame. But lucky for him, Kaycee won the veto. Again, I think he could have gotten her to use it to take Scottie down if he pushed for it and send Haleigh home instead. Both were a strong possibility to put Kaycee up as a replacement knob or pawn if nothing else, so she would have had reason to want to go along with it. But he didn't try. The nominations remain the same, and once more, the Hive was set to be whittled down to just one lone person. And then there was the eviction. And don't worry, I'll get to Scottie's speech in a minute, but I want to say where everyone messed up with this week. Once more, the House decided that they had to blindside someone. And by someone, I mean Scottie. The thing was, why did they feel they had to blindside someone? Aside from Scottie obviously figuring it out, it served no purpose anyway. Yes, blindsides make good TV, but you know what else they do? Leave people bitter and upset, especially if they don't see it coming. Derek was interviewed in the eviction episode, and he talked about how it isn't about getting everyone else out so you get to the end, it's about how you get everyone else out getting to the end. Derek never blindsided anyone because he made damn sure people didn't leave mad at him, and blindsiding people is not the way to get them to leave without being mad at you. Again, it does make good TV. Yes, they score strategy points, which contrary to popular belief means little once the jury starts to vote. Yes, they are fun, and Level 6 love the ego boost of doing it. But they leave people mad, as they saw with Scottie, and then they go to the jury mad and stew it over. Then they don't want to vote for you. They showed Scottie talking to Haleigh and Brett about the jury being so bitter in the house. What they didn't show was that the jury has, according to Scottie, who to be fair we don't know is telling the truth, but according to him, they made a pact to pick someone not to win and to not vote for them no matter what. That has a lot of fans upset. They say because an undeserving person will win, but in reality, for 99% of them, it's about them thinking they mean Tyler, and he's not going to guarantee the win like they thought he had before. Is this a bitter jury to do that? Yes, of course it is. It's also not the least bit surprising. Cody admitted last season that they made such a deal about Paul, hence why he didn't get 5 votes from the jury and he lost. Juries always vote emotionally and are always bitter. Always. We watched attached and not the ones Level 6 have taken the money from, and frankly in a less than nice way with their passive-aggressive speeches designed to upset them and their mean-spirited goodbye messages. And we think, well, they should be able to remove themselves from it and respect they played the best game. But they never do. If people don't like you, they will not vote for you no matter how slick you are and how many things you won. It just isn't how it works. And don't let the fact that in the past villains like Will, Boogie, Dan, and Dick winning make you think that it means once upon a time juries were not so bitter. Those people all sat next to someone the jury disliked more than them, and they won because of it. But Level 6 and the rest of the house just don't get that. And they decided it was time for another blindside. Once the veto was played, or even on the night of the eviction, they could have pulled Scottie aside and warned him. What was he going to do about it that changed anything? Nothing. But they didn't, and he knew they'd been lying all week, especially Tyler, and he wasn't happy about it. And as we saw, he definitely made that known. Now, Big Brother censored Scottie, as most people noticed, and they did that because this isn't the live feed, and you can't say certain things. But Scottie got vulgar. For those who haven't heard it, Scottie's live eviction speech went, "Okay, alright. Julie, first of all, I still don't know if we were hanging out again tonight. My friends keep dicking around and can't make any plans. Secondly, I hope you all know the right and smart move, and I hope you make it. If you don't, then you can suck it. Except for Tyler, because he's already getting a steady diet of that Hilton head." And when he said Hilton head, for anyone who hasn't guessed, he was referring to where Angela and Tyler live, and the double entendre of, Well, if you can't figure it out, you're too young to know, frankly. He then apparently flipped him off on the way out, but BB cut away from that. This was definitely a little much. Tyler, as we saw, threw something at Scottie, maybe a bar of soap, and Angela was really upset, basically calling it slander and worried about it hurting her reputation. The fans in the studio audience did not like it, and although we couldn't hear the bad parts, they did, and he noticeably got booed. It's a big deal considering Big Brother tells the audience before the show starts not to boo anyone, but they did it anyway. A lot of fans lost respect for him when he was adored for being a super nice guy and a good sport before this, and reportedly CBS was not thrilled, as talking like that could possibly get in trouble with the FCC. Apparently the fine could be around $300,000, and while the FCC may not monitor how fair the game is, they do monitor if people say things you can't say on network TV. Did Scottie go too far? Yes. Now, I can't really feel bad for Angela and Tyler. Their alliance, including them, and especially Angela, were the ones who started this let's give speeches to tick people off whenever we can and rub it in. And yes, Angela never attacked people in such a personal way, but I don't recall them stating the rules of conduct to their contest of who can deliver the most antagonizing speech. They dish it out, but they can't take it, as they have shown several times. But two wrongs don't make a right, and aside from lying about voting him out in a game where people lie about who they're going to vote out, Angela and Tyler had not done anything mean to Scottie to warrant that kind of thing. He was just bitter and wanted to tick them off for voting him out. It was not mature or a big thing to do. It did upset Angela and Tyler, which I'm sure was his intention. It also upset Big Brother, turned a lot of fans on him, killed the nice guy who's so happy to be their image, and it probably killed any chance of CBS asking him back for anything Big Brother related or otherwise. But he got Angela and Tyler good, so hope it was worth it, and he better hope that CBS doesn't get fined, because reportedly if they do, it goes out of their stipend, and I don't think his stipend will cover that $300,000+, so he basically will have just worked for free for the last 2.5 months, so I hope he was glad to be there. Which brings me to Tyler's goodbye message. As we saw, Tyler tried to do some damage control with his goodbye messages. Now granted, Scottie was clearly more upset than Tyler planned on, so I'm not sure anything he said would have helped at that point, but I'm sure Tyler didn't see that coming. But even then, Tyler gave a horrible attempt to smooth things over. He said he knew what was going to happen, which was not really good. It shows he was playing more, but more than that, it proved he had been lying all week like Scottie suspected, which was why he was mad at Tyler in the first place. Maybe if he laid out the whole alliance, it could have made some difference, but I doubt it, as Scottie pretty much figured out Tyler was aligned with them anyway. And his telling about the power app, I get what he was trying to do, but Scottie apparently isn't going to share that info. Tyler will likely be telling everyone who goes from here on out about that power app, so the jury's going to find out, I have no doubt. But I don't think it matters. No one really cares, and it comes off as bragging. It just proved he was holding things from them when they thought he could be trusted. It says after Haleigh is likely gone in a week or so, he'll be voting out people who trusted him, telling them he had something handed to him by the fans, which is not necessarily a sign of good gameplay, that he kept from them, will probably annoy them more than anything. Tyler's trying to pull a Josh, and while it's debatable that's what won Josh the game last season, the reason it was a good move for Josh is it shifted resentment to Paul and exposed he had been playing people who thought they trusted him. Tyler, on the other hand, is revealing that he betrayed people who thought they could trust him. So if they're upset at him, how is that going to help? Josh's plan doesn't work for Tyler, and I don't think his plan of blindsiding people and telling them in the goodbye messages he played them is going to change anything, and it'll probably just make it worse. So with all of that out of the way, was Scottie the right choice? Hard to say. For Tyler, obviously he wasn't, but he didn't vote. For everyone else, they were in about as much danger no matter who stayed, but Scottie was the easier one to justify as he'd just come back in, and Haleigh, at least in theory, was less likely to win a comp and do any damage before they could get her out. So for the majority, he was probably the right choice. With Scottie gone, we went to the next head of household, and as we saw, Kaycee won, which is good for her resume, but likely bad for TV. Now, people who just want to see level 6 in the Final Four, this is great for them, as it's highly unlikely she will put anyone in level 6 up. But it doesn't ensure the surprise and drama we most likely would have seen if Haleigh or even Sam or JC won head of household. As we see, there's a double eviction, and I know who Kaycee put up, so won't speculate on that, but I will say, when they find out it's a double eviction, JC better pray he wins a head of household or a veto in the second half, because if not, he's going home. The main reason, despite so many people being over his crap, that he's yet to go on the block is no one has the guts to put him up and deal with the temper tantrum he will likely have for days on end afterwards. Angela might have if she had won this week, but she didn't, and Kaycee and Tyler are probably going to want to play it safe, especially since JC has info that can blow up their game. But with the double eviction, there is less time for a tantrum or for him to blow up someone's game. They've clearly been waiting for the moment, and if JC does survive Kaycee's head of household, I'm sure as I've been of anything that barring veto or head of household win, JC's game ends this Thursday. But whatever happens, I'll be back next week for my thoughts on the nominations, the veto, the double eviction, and whatever other craziness happens this week. And if this week showed us anything, it's with this season, anything can happen. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to hit that bell for notifications. I'm Dan the Man, and I'll see you next time.